Have you ever felt afraid to speak English, even when you knew the right words? This story is for you. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about courage, kindness, and one small moment that changed everything. Stay with us. You might see yourself in Sofia's story, and maybe find your own voice too. Sofia always stood in the same spot. Near the bench, close to the sign, just far enough from the street to avoid the noise of cars. Every morning, the same routine. Same shoes. Same quiet walk. Same bus stop. She listened to English podcasts in her headphones, short ones, with slow voices and easy words. She understood most of it. But speaking? That was different. Words in her mind were soft and safe. Words out loud felt like stepping into cold water. She had lived in this city for 6 months. She had learned street names, bus routes, where to buy cheap vegetables. But she still avoided conversation. Just nods. Smiles. Simple gestures. When someone spoke too fast, she would freeze and look away. That morning, the air was cold. Not winter yet, but close. Sofia stood with her hands deep in her coat pockets, the podcast playing quietly. Hello. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. She mouthed the words, but didn't say them out loud. She never did in public. 2 people waited beside her, a man reading the news on his phone, and an older woman with short white hair and a bright blue scarf. Sofia had never seen the woman before. She looked around nervously, holding a piece of paper in one hand and checking the street every few seconds. After a minute, the woman turned to Sofia and asked something in English. Her voice was kind, but fast. Sofia didn't catch it. Her heart jumped. She pulled out one earbud and said, "Sorry?" The woman smiled. "I think I am lost. This bus, number 27. Does it go to Riverside Park?" Sofia froze. She knew that bus. Knew the answer. But speaking it felt like trying to move a heavy door. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Then took a breath. "Yes," she said. "This bus goes to Riverside." The woman's face lit up. "Oh, thank you. I was so worried." Sofia smiled, a real one. The kind that came from doing something small, but brave. And for the first time in a long time, she felt like her voice had done something good. The woman sat down slowly on the bench, carefully folding the paper in her hand. Sofia stayed standing, unsure if she should put her earbud back in or say something more. The older woman looked up and smiled again. "Thank you, really. I just arrived yesterday. Everything is new." Her voice slowed a little, maybe because she noticed Sofia's hesitation. Sofia nodded. "You, from another country?" she asked, her voice quiet. "Yes," the woman said, gently. "From Canada. I'm visiting my daughter." She works here now. But she had to go to work early today. She paused, then added, I'm Helen, by the way. Sophia hesitated, then smiled. I'm Sophia. Helen held out her gloved hand. Sophia shook it, a small, warm gesture. Her heart was still racing, but not from fear now. From trying. From being part of a conversation that, 5 minutes ago, she would have avoided. It's hard, isn't it? Helen asked. The first words in a new language? Sophia nodded. Very hard. I understand more. But speaking is, she searched for the word. Scary. Helen gave a soft laugh. Yes. I remember. When I went to France years ago, I didn't speak a word. I was afraid even to order coffee. But you're doing great, Sophia. Sophia looked down, trying not to smile too much. Only few words. But that's how it begins, Helen said. With just a few words. They sat in silence for a moment. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. Sophia realized she wasn't thinking so much about the grammar, the perfect structure, or sounding right. She was just talking. Communicating. Being present. The bus turned the corner and pulled up slowly. Helen stood, holding her paper again. Is this the right one? She asked. Sophia nodded. Yes. You sit near window. Easy to see park. Helen touched her arm gently. Thank you again, Sophia. You helped me more than you know. Sophia stepped back as Helen climbed into the bus. She waved from the window. Sophia waved back. And as the bus rolled away, Sophia realized something simple. She had spoken English, not perfectly, but clearly, kindly, and bravely. And that was enough. The bench was quiet again. The bus had taken Helen away, and the stop returned to its usual silence. Sophia sat down, feeling the cold metal under her legs. Her heart was still beating fast, but in a new way. It felt like something important had just happened, and for once, she hadn't walked away from it. She looked down and noticed something on the bench. A thin white envelope. Long, with a name written in soft, curved letters, Emily. It was slightly open, and she could see a card inside. Sophia picked it up gently and turned it over. On the back, a tiny sticker with a maple leaf, Canadian. It was Helen's. Sophia stood quickly, looking at the road. But the bus was already gone. She sat again, holding the envelope in her lap. It felt warm, even in the cold morning air. Her mind raced. Should I keep it? Bring it to the driver tomorrow? Leave it here? But none of that felt right. She opened her phone and searched Bus 27 route map. With a few taps, she found it. One of the stops was listed near Riverside Park. Maybe Helen would get off there. Maybe Sophia could take the next bus and try to find her. Her hands shook a little. Not from fear, from energy. From choice. Speaking earlier had taken courage. But this was more. She took a deep breath. She looked at the envelope again. A name. A sticker. A mistake that needed fixing. But more than that, a chance. A chance to speak again. To help again. To do something right, in English, in real life. The next bus arrived in 12 minutes. Sophia stood up, put the envelope safely inside her bag, and tightened her scarf. She didn't know exactly what would happen. Maybe she'd miss Helen. Maybe she wouldn't know what to say. But she was going anyway. Because sometimes, the second conversation is even braver than the first. The bus doors opened with a soft hiss. Sophia stepped in, holding her card in one hand and the envelope in the other. She showed her pass to the driver and looked around quickly. The seats were half full. Some people stared out the window. Others looked at their phones. But Helen wasn't there. Sophia sat near the middle and placed the envelope gently on her lap. Her fingers traced the word Emily. She wondered if that was Helen's daughter. Maybe it was a birthday card. Maybe something more. All she knew was that it wasn't hers, but somehow it had found its way into her hands. As the bus rolled forward, Sophia checked the route map again on her phone. She counted the stops. 5 to go until Riverside Park. She would get off there and wait. Maybe Helen would still be nearby. Maybe she would recognize the scarf, the notebook, the soft voice that spoke clearly and kindly. At each stop, Sophia looked out carefully. She didn't see Helen. She wanted to believe this wasn't a mistake, that chasing this small moment meant something. That her words, her effort, her choice to act, would bring her face to face with the woman again. At stop number 5, the bus pulled up near the entrance of a large green space. People walked dogs, pushed strollers, or sat on benches under trees. Sophia stepped out, her boots crunching on the gravel. The cold breeze touched her cheeks, and she tightened her coat. She walked slowly along the path, scanning the area. So many faces. None of them Helen's. Minutes passed. Then, near a wooden bench by a statue, she saw it, the blue scarf. Wrapped gently around a woman's shoulders. The same silver hair. The same calm presence. Sophia didn't run. She walked steadily, heart racing. "Helen?" she asked, her voice louder than usual. The woman turned, surprised, then wide-eyed. "Sophia?" Sophia smiled and held out the envelope. "You forgot this." Helen gasped softly, then placed a hand over her chest. "Oh, thank you. I didn't even know." Sophia exhaled. It wasn't just the envelope she had returned. It was her voice, too. Helen sat down slowly on the bench, the envelope still in her hands. She looked at it like it was something fragile, something precious. Then she looked up at Sofia. "You came all this way, for this?" Sofia smiled. "Yes. I wanted to help." Again. Helen's eyes softened. "You did more than help. You remembered. You cared. That means everything." Sofia sat beside her, the breeze brushing her hair. The park was peaceful, a quiet break from the noise of the city. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the little boy run after a red ball. Sofia felt nervous again, like she had in the morning. But this time, the words came easier. "I think my English is bad," she said. Helen shook her head gently. "No. Your English is brave." Sofia blinked. "Brave?" "Yes. You speak even when it's hard. Even when you're not sure. That's brave." Sofia looked down at her hands. "I always listen. Podcasts. Stories. I never talk." "But today, you did," Helen said. "Twice." They both laughed a little. Not loudly, just enough to feel lighter. Helen opened the envelope and pulled out the card. It had flowers on the front and a handwritten message inside. She didn't read it out loud, but her eyes glistened slightly. "It's for my daughter," she said. "Her birthday is tomorrow." Sofia nodded. "Emily?" "Yes." Helen smiled. "I wrote the letter on the plane. I planned to leave it on her table while she was working. I guess I dropped it before I could." Sofia paused, then said, "Now you can give it." Helen placed the card back into the envelope and turned to her. "Can I ask you something?" "Okay. Do you want to keep practicing English? Not just here and there. I mean really talk with someone who wants to listen?" Sofia looked surprised. "You?" "Yes. If you want. We can meet here. Once a week. No books. Just conversation." Sofia didn't answer right away. But her smile grew wide, and her eyes brightened. "Yes," she said. "I want that." And in that quiet moment on the bench, with nothing but trees and voices around them, a new kind of lesson began, one without fear. A week later, Sofia returned to the same bench by the park. The sky was brighter that day. Fewer clouds. More light. She wore her best jacket, not for fashion, but because it made her feel strong. In her bag, she carried a small notebook, empty pages waiting for new words. Helen arrived right on time, with her usual calm smile and a coffee in her hand. "For you," she said, passing Sofia a cup. I remembered, no sugar, just milk. Sofia took it carefully. "Thank you." They talked for 30 minutes. About simple things, weather, food, their countries, childhood stories. Helen spoke slowly. Sofia tried her best. When she forgot a word, Helen waited. When she made a mistake, Helen smiled and gently corrected. And every now and then, they laughed. At one point, Helen asked, "Do you feel different than last week?" Sofia nodded. "Yes. I feel not perfect, but open, not scared." Helen leaned back on the bench. "That's the real lesson, you know. Not grammar, not vocabulary. Just this, showing up. Talking anyway." Sofia looked at the notebook in her lap. She hadn't written anything during their conversation. She had just spoken. And that, for her, was everything. After they said goodbye, Sofia walked through the park with slow steps. She passed a couple walking a dog, a man playing guitar, and two kids arguing over a soccer ball. English words floated in the air. She understood some, missed others. But instead of feeling small, she felt curious. She took out her phone and opened the recorder app. "My name is Sofia," she said, her voice calm. "I used to be afraid to speak. Now, I speak anyway." She saved the file. Not to show anyone. Just to keep. A reminder that the smallest moments, a bus stop, a forgotten envelope, a kind question, could lead to the biggest changes. That evening, she played the recording once before bed. Then she turned off the light, smiled into the darkness, and whispered to herself, just a few words. That's how it begins.